Hi, I'm Angela from Main Street Yoga. This is a short practice that can help release tension from the low back and the neck and shoulders, two areas where we tend to hold a lot of our tension. We'll be working with some spinal movements, and most of this will be done close to or onto the mat. So we're going to start on our backs. So go ahead and lie flat. Take a moment. Maybe let the legs stretch out. Let your arms rest by your sides. And just take a moment to get a sense of how those areas feel, how the low back feels. Notice the area between your shoulder blades. Notice the tops of the shoulders. Notice the back of the neck and the sides of the neck. There's never any need to make any judgment about what you find in these little micro investigations. It's just information that we can use during our practice and maybe use as a gauge for how the practice affects us. If you haven't already, establish a slow, steady breath, a rhythm that you can work with as we move through some of these breath-centric movements. See if you can allow your belly to rise as you inhale and relax or fall as you exhale. This type of breathing, this deep belly breathing, can sometimes be enough to release tension from the low back. Sometimes tension in the low back is caused by a tight psoas muscle, and this deep breathing can help relax that muscle because it's attached to the diaphragm, our breathing muscle, via fascia, connective tissue. If you'd like to pause the video and just take a few more moments to breathe on your own, feel free to do that. If you'd like to move, go ahead and bend the knees and plant the feet. The feet will be about hips distance apart, so you might think about lining up your heels with your sit bones. And it doesn't really matter how close or far away your feet are to your sit bones. Just establish an angle that feels stable to you. So we're going to start with some very slow somatic pelvic tilts, and we'll be working with the breath here. So the first movement is, as you exhale, begin to flatten your low back into the mat, and you'll notice your pelvis tilt into sort of a cat tilt. And then on your inhale, just release and come back to your starting position. So neutral spine, neutral pelvis. On your next exhale, go ahead and flatten the low back again. Notice the pelvis tilting. So your pubic bone will move up towards your belly button. And you'll also notice your abdominal muscles contracting here a little bit to make this movement happen. As you inhale, come back to your starting position. Reestablish neutral. And then one more time, as you exhale, begin to press the low back into the mat. Feel the pelvis tilt as the abdominal muscles engage. And if you like, take a second or two here and really feel into that sensation of the contraction of the muscles on the front of the body. And then inhale, absorb your attention in the sensation of those abdominal muscles releasing and lengthening again. Take a moment to rest here and breathe. And then we're going to reverse that. We're going to do the opposite movement. So on your inhale, arch just the low back away from the mat. So the shoulder blades stay firmly on the mat, and your pelvis is going to tilt into sort of a cow tilt. And then as you exhale, come back to your starting position. Come back to neutral. Again, inhale, arch the low back, tilt the pelvis. Feel the muscles in the low back engaging to make this movement happen. And then as you exhale, come back to your starting position, back to a neutral spine. We'll do that one more time. Inhale, arch the low back away from the mat. And if you like, just stay here for a few seconds. Feel into all the sensations associated with this position. And then as you exhale, moving back through neutral, feel the muscles of the low back lengthen and soften. So now we're going to put these two movements together. On an exhale, press the low back into the mat. Tilt the pubic bone up toward the belly button. Feel the abdominal muscles engage. Start to release. Begin to inhale. Arch the low back away from the mat. Tilt the pelvis in the opposite direction. Moving back through neutral. Exhale, press the low back down. Feel the abdominal muscles engage. Inhale, peel the low back away from the mat. Tilt the pelvis. Engage the low back muscles. Begin to soften back through neutral. One more set of movements here. Exhale, press the low back down. Inhale, back through neutral, arch the low back. Maybe hold here. And then on your exhale, simply melt back to a neutral position. Take a moment to notice whether anything has shifted in the low back area. For this next movement, we're going to take our arms out to a T. The palms will face the ceiling, and we're going to call this our starting position or our neutral position. We're going to work with arching both the lumbar and the thoracic spine this time, and we're going to add in some internal and external rotation of the shoulders. So first, let's just work with the shoulders. On an exhale, sort of think of your arms as rolling pins and roll them down toward the floor so your palms face the floor. And if you keep rolling, your shoulders will lift up a little bit and kind of squeeze toward each other. So this is internal rotation. As you Inhale, come back to your neutral position. Arms to a T, palms facing up. Let's try that again. Exhale, roll the arms down, palms face the floor. Keep rolling and see if your shoulders will lift a little bit of contraction in the front of the chest, upper chest. And then inhale and unwind back to neutral. So that's our internal rotation of the shoulders. External is just the opposite. So we're going to roll the arms up. And the range of motion here is going to depend on what you're comfortable with. So you might roll a lot, you might roll a little. Our exhale will bring us back to our neutral position here. So let's try external rotation one more time. Inhale, roll the arms up. And as you do, you might notice that the spine sort of naturally lifts away from the mat. And then go ahead and exhale back to neutral. So this time we're going to purposely arch and flatten the back as we continue with these movements in the arms. So first, we're going to exhale, press the low back into the mat, roll the arms down, and maybe lift the shoulders. Feel a little scrunching there in the top part of the chest. And then inhale back to neutral. Let's do that again. Exhale, press the low back down, feel the abdominal muscles engage, the arms roll down, the shoulders lift away from the mat. And then inhale back to neutral. Let's do that one more time. Exhale, press the low back down, tilt the pelvis, engage the abdominal muscles, roll the arms down. You might lift your chin a little as the shoulders come toward each other in that internal rotation. And then inhale, slowly soften back to neutral. And we'll pause here and breathe. Good. So now we'll do the opposite of that. On the inhale, we're going to start to arch the spine away from the mat. Shoulder blades still stay down. The back of the pelvis is still down. We're going to roll the arms up. So we kind of make this little arch with our back, and the arms are in sort of an awkward position. And then we're going to exhale and slowly melt back to neutral. Stay here and breathe. Inhale, arch the spine away from the mat, roll the arms up. Feel the muscles on the back of the body engaging to make this movement happen. And then as you exhale, feel those muscles return to their original length. Allow them to soften. Take a breath. And one more time. Inhale, arch the spine away, roll the arms up, purposely squeezing the muscles on the back of the body, just enough to make that sensation noticeable. And then exhale, this is the magic part, letting everything return back to neutral, allowing the muscles to soften. And really feeling into the sensation of that. So now we're going to combine these two movements. On the exhale, press the low back into the mat, roll the arms down, shoulders move toward each other on the front of the body. Begin to inhale, move back through neutral, arch the spine away, roll the arms up. Back of the body engaged. Slowly moving back through neutral. Exhale, press the low back down. Lift the shoulders away as you roll the arms into internal rotation. Inhale, slowly melting back through neutral. Lift the spine away from the mat, roll the arms up. And this movement should feel enjoyable. One more time, rolling arms down, pressing the low back down, lifting the shoulders. And then moving back through neutral. Inhale, roll the arms up. Nice deep inhale here, maybe pause for a few seconds. And then exhale slowly back into neutral. Take a moment here to rest and breathe. So all of these movements should feel good. You're going to feel muscles engaging. You're going to feel muscles releasing. If you feel anything approaching the sensation of pain, anything sharp or shooting or tingling, back off a little bit until that sensation goes away. One more movement here. We're going to toe heel the feet out to the edges of the mat. So the feet are wide. And we're going to be rolling the arms in opposite directions. So the first movement is, as you exhale, both knees will fall to the right. The right arm will go into internal rotation. It'll roll down. The left arm will roll up, and you'll kind of look up towards your left hand. And then we're going to melt back into neutral on the inhale. So both knees face the sky. Arms are at a T, palms face up. Other side. Exhale, both knees fall to the left. Left arm rolls down. Right arm rolls up, looking toward the right hand. Inhale, back through neutral. Take a moment to really notice neutral here. Exhale, both knees to the right. Right arm rolls down, left arm rolls up. A little twist through the waist. Extending through the left arm. Rolling back slowly into neutral. To the left again, exhaling, knees fall to the side. Left arm rolls down, right arm rolls up. You can make these movements as big or as small as you like. Coming back into neutral. Exhale to the right again. Right arm rolls down, left arm rolls up. So again, these movements should feel good. They should feel enjoyable. You should feel sort of like a cat or a baby kind of rolling around on the floor, experimenting with sensations in the body. I love this one so much. Let's do it one more time. Inhale, knees come up. Exhale, knees fall to the right. Right arm rolls down, left arm rolls up. Look up. And exhale back through neutral. Last time. Really enjoy it this time. Exhaling, knees to the left. Left arm rolls down, right arm rolls up. And inhale back into neutral. Go ahead and bring your arms down by your sides. You might bring your feet a little bit closer together. And it might feel nice at this point to sort of pick up the knees, bring them in toward the chest, hug them in, maybe rock side to side. Maybe circle the knees a little. And when you feel you've had enough of that, Go ahead and release the knees, place the feet back on the mat, stretch the legs out, arms down by your sides, palms facing up in Shavasana. Take a moment here. Notice whether anything has shifted. Notice whether you've been able to release any tension from those problem areas, the low back, the neck, the shoulders, between the shoulder blades. Feel free to pause the video here, rest in Shavasana as long as you like. When you're ready, you can bend the knees, plant the feet, roll to one side, make your way up into a seat. And sometimes this is where I can really tell whether anything has shifted. When I come back into a seated position and I notice maybe my shoulders are resting a little further away from my ears, maybe my low back feels more comfortable in a seated position. So take a moment to notice that. Notice the quality of your breath. And then when you're ready, bring your hands to heart center. Take a deep breath in and a long, slow exhale. I hope you've enjoyed these somatic exercises. Thank you for practicing yoga.